Hello, you beautiful people. So, as I'm sure some of you know, I am working on moving back to the US. I had moved out here to Peru a while ago, and I've decided it's about time. There are a lot of reasons for that, and that's not what this video is about. However, what it is about is I've actually acquired some animals here in Peru, and I want to bring them back with me. It's actually not an option. I'm not leaving them here. That's not happening. Actually, a lot of people who do pass through this area do leave their animals here, which I feel like is really, really messed up. Actually, a lot of those animals I've heard end up dying not too long after their owners leave, just because they don't want to go through the process of bringing their animals with them. Anyway, the morality of that is also not the topic of this video. The topic of this video is the process that I'm going through to get them to the US. Now, I have the dog that's here, and the cat. There is a cat as well. Similar color pattern. That's Urko. The cat is Boba, and so Boba's actually the easy one. And I have some updates on this. I mentioned a little bit about this in a past video. Basically, I had a vet come yesterday that is like an international vet. I'm not sure if that's the direct terminology for this person, but basically what they do is they help animals move internationally. So, and this vet is certified to do so. So a couple videos back, I was pretty worried about I knew the consequences of the dog not being able to come or the cat not being able to come, and like how that would come to arise, but I didn't know the exact specifics. So basically, under certain circumstances, there is a possibility that my dog Urko could get sent back to Peru without me. Actually, I would have to get a flight and go back with him, and he would get rejected and deported back to his home country, which would be Peru. So at the time, I didn't really know how that would happen, how it would come about, but it is something that people run into. So I want to talk about it a little bit here. So it's something that you could potentially avoid, and it's just so you could kind of keep up with what I'm going through. So yes, a vet came yesterday. So there's a few things that they did for the pets. Sorry, the camera's bouncing all over the place. There's a few things that they did for the pets while they were here. The first thing that they did was they checked them out and made sure they looked in good health, and they gave them both vaccines. For Urko, I believe, I know for a fact it was the rabies vaccine. For Boba, I'm actually not sure. I didn't ask because he is not as important as far as getting rejected from the U.S. He's very important to me, but the U.S. doesn't care about him so much. But basically, this country that I'm in, Peru, has very big problems with rabies. There's rampant amounts of dogs running through the streets. There's rabies kind of being passed throughout them. Now, it's not something that I per se have encountered myself, but apparently the percentage of dogs with rabies is higher here compared to other places. So that's the problem that we're trying to address. Now, when it comes to getting a dog sent back from the U.S., once you land, first of all, you have to fly into a very specific airport, and you have to fly into a specific airport at a specific time frame so that your dog can get checked out while you're there. If you fly out of office hours, or if you go to the wrong airport, you will either have to buy a new flight and transfer there, or they might send you back and you have to fly back into that particular airport. I'm not really sure how that exact process works, but basically what I'm telling you is make sure to look up how exactly which airport your animal would need to enter into the U.S. But with Urko specifically, since he's coming from Peru, it's a high rabies risk country. So that's thing number one. Basically, you want to find out if your dog has had and is up to date with his rabies or her rabies vaccinations, which as of now he is. He got a re-up within the normal allotted time, so he's technically barely double dose with rabies. It's not like a big deal. It's not anything crazy, but they're supposed to get it every once in a while in the US too, and the same applies here. So yes, he is covered for that. But the next thing is the paperwork, which is something that I didn't really expect, and that's something that can go wrong if not filled out properly, like if their name is incorrect, if the data on it is incorrect. So the vet that came was telling us that we have to make sure the information on this that we give her is correct, that everything is filled out properly, because she had seen other people not fill things out properly and run into some issues. Now, it's things that could potentially be avoided depending on what is not filled out properly, but she took care of most of that. Basically, we just told her the answers to the questions and got it filled out. So that was step one. So now they've both been vaccinated, and they both have received paperwork. The last thing that dogs need specifically, which the cat also got, is microchips. So now they are both microchipped internationally. So if they ever leave the United States for any reason, they are able to leave. It's kind of like a little passport they put in them. They will also get little cute passports, I guess. I'm not exactly sure what they look like. I haven't seen them yet. I'll show you guys when I get them. But they will get passports as well, but they have the microchips as well to prove that they are the dog that we are saying that they are. So this is just one of the few or many consequences that I kind of run into when it comes to the way that I choose to live my life. And I don't think there's any particular problem with it. Now, if Urko gets denied from the U.S., and from what she is saying, I should have no reason for that to happen since he's in good health. He's got the appropriate vaccinations that he's needed every step of the way, and he's got his microchip and will have his paperwork. There shouldn't be a problem. But if anything does come up, I mean, I'm obviously going to come back with him. Because, you know, I've taken on this responsibility of having a pet, and I will continue to see it through. Quick reflection for you. Clarity doesn't usually come as certainty. What it does come as a quiet whisper in your mind telling you that it's time to act. And for most people, they know exactly what they want, but where they struggle is trusting that impulse enough to move forward with it. If you consider yourself an ambitious person, but often gets caught in indecision, I help people like you every day turn clarity into action. If that sounds interesting to you, check out the links in the top of the description below. Let's get back to the video. I used to have an animal named Kona, a dog named Kona, and I found a better home that could provide better to her than I could. And I'm definitely not one to turn down a better opportunity for my pets. Not that I'm going around giving my pets away or anything like that. But yes, Kona was her name, and I really found a family that was much better suited to care for a dog of her style. And I took the best care of her that I could, but I just recognized that there was someone that could do better, and I loved her so much and knew that I wanted her to live the best and happiest life that she could, and helped her do that. Anyway, but these kind of decisions are the kind of things that I run into on a regular basis when it comes to kind of living from a place of what I want to do and what goals I want to achieve. And I'm not saying you should throw caution to the wind and do things erratically, even though, you know, just because you want to do something. But there's just something inside of me that when it comes to when I want to make a decision and when I have clarity on what exactly I want, I just go for it. And that's something I'm very lucky to have had and learned how to do over the process of my life. So, you know, the first step is always research, though, knowing for the animals, in particular, in this particular situation, is knowing what potholes could they run into? What could that cause for me? And then basically addressing those things and realizing the risk factors that kind of runs along with this type of thing. So we are doing pretty well. The next step that we have is we're waiting for blood work, actually. So a month after they got their vaccines, they can get blood work to kind of fully check out anything else that's running through their system that might cause them to get denied. Otherwise, Urko is in the process of being trained to be a service dog. He has for a bit now, and he's finally about to get his certification as well, so he's going to be getting on the plane with us. Now, this is all an expensive process. It would probably be much more expensive in the U.S. because I am paying in soles. But in soles, I want to say the whole thing altogether was around 4,000 soles. And usually a good rule of thumb is when you're in the United States, if it costs 4,000 soles, it would cost $4,000 is usually the way that I look at it. So, yeah, it costs about 4,000 soles to get all this done, and that's not everything yet. So it is adding up. But, you know, I had budgeted and expected this stuff. So we're doing things the right way. We're getting things done the right way. And, you know, he's happy. Urko, he's happy and comfortable. And, you know, that's all I can really ask for. But I'm really excited for this move. I'm really excited to bring them along with me to the United States. And I will be making a video in the future as to why I'm choosing to leave Peru, because I feel like that's an important topic. And, you know, I can talk about my issues or lack thereof with Peru and all that jazz. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys watching my video every time, and thanks for stopping in and caring about the animals. And I will see you soon.